Hi, Mario. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, what we have today?
Yeah, of course. So, starting out with our featured question, it's from Anonymous. They say, "Hi, everyone. I'm currently in India working on building my EB1A profile and plan to file my petition in by July, August. I hold a valid work visa to enter the US, and I'm trying to determine the best option for filing my EB1A petition. So, my question is, should I file from India or the USA? Which option would make more sense in terms of processing time, approval rates, and overall success strategy? I would really appreciate any insights and experiences or recommendations from those who've been through the process. Thanks in advance for your valuable inputs."
Oh, wonderful. All the best for your application. I have a following take actually for you here that you say you are in India working on building and plan to file in July or August. Please understand that it does not matter where you are actually. It's about establishing your extraordinary ability, and that's the whole core here. You're talking from a salary perspective. Some people, I saw some of the comments also on this. Some people said your salary will be better, and this thing. It doesn't matter. So if you're using the salary as a criteria, and if your income is in India, then you have to use something as a PPP factor and purchasing power parity, and kind of compare that with the US equivalents, or you show in India that the salary is amongst the one of the top where you are, wherever you are actually here. That would be one of the good things to do. But should have, I mean, from an adjudication perspective, I don't think that would make any sense, I mean, any difference for that matter. So the question, honestly speaking, I would look at it as a very infructuous question. We, of course, it matters about your intensity of your expertise that would be benefiting the United States. That is more important to me. I again repeat that if your case, whether you are in Uganda, India, Japan, Germany, Honduras, anywhere in the world, or Mexico, I think if you are able to communicate three things, and I always say that applying for EB1A green card is akin to like talking to President Trump and saying that, look, I'm Mario, this is my expertise, this is what I will do for the United States, and I will continue. If that comes across, no matter where you are, US will welcome you. And that's the whole idea. The genesis behind the EB1A green card is to get attracted, kind of, it is not for the people inside the USA who are on work visas, basically. Let's understand, that's not a pre-qualification or you have a better rate. That's more for people who can contribute to a US, for US to attract the best talent in the world. So I would just leave at that. I think you have to just look at it from a perspective. But if you have a work visa, the only advantage which I would suggest, and I would like to assume that it is an H1B or L1 visa, the only advantage that you might have is since if you have a job offer and if you want to come to USA, you can file from anywhere in the world. But when it comes to kind of once your petition gets approved, you might like to come to USA and file for adjustment of status instead of seeking consular processing, because consular processing, kind of it goes to Department of State, and you have to wait. You can't come back to USA for one. I mean, it's always good to kind of adjustment of status, and you may like to get EAD also. Actually, that's the advantage, provided your priority date is correct. I mean, even that, those are the factors that you have to look at it. So there are a lot of variables in this. I'm not commenting on the case strength because we don't know the criteria and your expertise and benefit to the US that you can bring in. It is based on a very factual information that you are doing, which is absolutely fine. So I hope that answers the question. So what's the next, Syria?
So the next question is from an anonymous participant. He said, "Hi, a very general question. As most of the attorneys are encouraging me for NIW followed by EP1. So can you please explain below? I'm from India. If I submit my NIW application, and how long it takes to approve? Second, if approved, what's the significance of this excluding EP1? And third, what's the chance of a green card I 485 approval as a priority date R 2012?"
Okay. I kind of let me take this question. I personally feel this is more related to EB2 NIW. Just to give you a perspective, what happens is that when somebody applies for EB, any green card for that matter, even if the petition gets approved, there is something that gets invoked for the issuance of a visa or a green card is the limitations of number of visas actually that they have for a US would have for a particular year. There is a constitutional limitation on 7% quota for each country. So it means that roughly, let's take a hypothetical number. So roughly around a million green cards are issued each year. So no country, and this is based on your birth country actually. Uh, it's not citizenship. So otherwise, it's not possible for somebody to get more than 7%. So Indians would normally, if you're from India, it would have 70,000 green cards, would be issued across all categories. So suppose there are 8 to 10 categories, and definitely the employment based are based on that actually. So you have roughly around, let's say, 7 to 8,000 green cards for employment based. I'm just making a rough number. They would further get subdivided into EB1, EB2, EB3, and likes of that actually here. Then what happens is that since it is presumed, and many people believe that if you don't have EB2 priority date, which could range from say 2012, 2013, 14, 15, 16, it might be beneficial to lock in the priority date because you can port your EB2 to EB1. So what happens is that if you go for NIW application, number one is that you don't need an employer for that. Unlike EB1A, you can do it yourself. We have had some students in the program who kind of joined the program. Their profile was decent enough to apply for NIW, but not for EB1. EB1 would take roughly for the profile of this one or two people, it would take roughly around say 1 year or 2 years. So this person, after having joined the program, after 3 months of joining, he applied for NIW and he got his NIW approved. And after getting that NIW approved, uh, his priority date gets locked. And after 1.5 years, he got his EB2 approved. So his priority date was EB2 NIW priority date, not the one after 1.5 years. So he has an advantage of almost 3 to 5 years at least ahead. So that's the merit of going for EB2 NIW, I would say that actually. So if you want more clarity, you can do some research, you can put some more questions, we'll be happy to kind of respond to you. So that's about merit of NIW. If you want more, many of our students have been doing that. In fact, attorneys would suggest this from India, I would believe, because that helps you to lock if you don't have your regular EB2 approved from through an employer. So that's the advantage, I would say that. I hope this answers the question, Syria. So what's next actually?
Yeah, so our next question is from Srinivas K. I actually spoke with him 2 days ago. He asked, can you share ways in which an applicant might organically secure opportunities such as industry panels, speaking engagements, or even peer reviews that reinforce their expertise?
Wonderful. I mean, I think I love this question because after a long time, I think we are getting not from a legal jurisprudence perspective about EB1 or something. You want to become an expert, and this is from a career enhancement perspective. You see, you have to remember one thing, that when you apply for EB1, it's not about the knowledge that you possess solely. It's not about the work experience that you have, that the impact that you have created. In fact, USCIS had come out with a policy memo wherein they do allow online speaking engagements or something like this. You can prove it. And in today's world, if we have a situation where almost, if not anything more, at least 60 to 70% of the work and knowledge repository is based across online forums actually, or online community, or online business, or live or whatever. Now there are businesses which are going live. There are LinkedIn. There are a lot of social media which is so active today in today's world. So it plays a very important role. So if you are talking about securing industry panel speaking engagement, first is that I've always called something as 5 pillars. What you have is that for every expertise, there would be something akin to, let's say, for example, your body of knowledge. So there is some kind of a research organizations which are creating new streams of knowledge in your field. Are you aware of that? So for example, if I say my field is autonomous vehicles or artificial intelligence, which are the institutions or companies which are doing a cutting edge research? You have to be aware of that. Read those documents and contribute your views. Number 2 would be, who are the most influential people? So suppose my own expertise was investment and financial planning. Who are the key influencers in that? I'm not necessarily referring to social media influencers. I'm talking about people who have shaped the industry and the whole knowledge base. So, what are their views and how do you connect to that actually? So, give your opinions and start with social media because that's the easiest one. Third would be who are the journalists who are talking about that? What is the latest news that is happening around it? You have to keep yourself abreast. There are, for every, in journalism, this would be called as beats. So there is a crime beat, there is a autonomous vehicle beat, there is a political beat. So what are the beat? Who are the authors or journalists who are talking about it regularly? I mean, you have to be on forums like maybe let us say Quora or X, which is formerly Twitter, or you could be on LinkedIn. There will be people talking about that. And there are things like this you can keep on kind of continuing like this actually. Awards, there are institutions which are doing awards also. Which are the institutions which are doing? There are membership organizations. The first step is to connect on an online community, be visible. Fundamentally, when you apply for EB1A, I always tell people that you have to be known by your expertise. So for example, if somebody Googles your name, that expertise should come forward. And when somebody, the highest esteem would be when somebody puts Google's your expertise, say autonomous vehicle, and if Mario's name comes up, if it is financial planning, if Syria's name comes up at the top, that exactly is the goal. So you have to personify your expertise. Now, to that, online is one of the most efficient mediums. So join some programs, join some course in some university, get connected with professors, do research papers, try to get, these are the things we always tell people from the scratch. We had one gentleman in our program. He had, kind of only 100 followers. And at a point of time, I always told them that like he was a little hesitant to go online also. That's another challenge that people feel when they are in their EB1A journeys. So I told him that, to cut story short, just let me give you an end result. In 1.5 years, he got his EB1A, and it's a factual story. And today he has over almost 15 to 16,000 followers, or connections. I'm just giving you a LinkedIn, which is not necessarily a criteria per se, but just to give that outreach that his expertise could create. He was a bit hesitant on the fact that his employer may say something, his friends and family may say something. In fact, I told him that okay, you are not doing certain things. If you are doing something for EB, you're in your expertise. Let us say, today we are going live on internet right now. I could have been very hesitant to do this because I'm going live. We are showing our faces every day because we feel, oh, what will people believe in? What will people say? My friends and families might laugh at me. I'm not very efficient. These are the things that imposter syndrome creeps in. But you are not doing it for people who kind of may not like it. You are doing this for people whom you can benefit. There are thousands and thousands of people who might need your support, who might need your expertise. So whether you are an AI expert, and that's the thing that keeps on going. You are not doing this. So this is the second level I'm talking about, and you need to do things coming out, because you will not get EB1A because you are a expert or just because you have a very good experience. You will get because the impact of your work, how many lives that you have touched. And to begin with, as I said, online is one of the mediums. Second is connect with your universities and forums. Connect with not things like that actually. So that would be one of the things I would say. Do that. And of course, we can keep on talking more about it. If there are any more specific questions pertaining to any specific forums, happy to help you actually. Okay? Wonderful. So what's next?
So the next question is from another anonymous participant. He said, what is your approach to obtaining and leveraging a strong recommendation letters that enhance an applicant's case?
Okay. Now there is a certain, there are 3 levels in this. The first, there has to be a substance actually. That's the first thing. There has to be some substance in whatever you are going to talk. And what basis somebody should give you. Don't directly try to approach somebody and say that, look, give me a recommendation letter. You have to cultivate that relationship first. I would always say that. Second is there is a certain structure we have. Actually, we always tell people if this gentleman wants it, please ask him to reach out to us. We'll give it. We give it to. We're happy to give him a certain structure that has helped at least 40 plus EB1 achievers to kind of get it. No matter what your field is, it has to be focused on a specific criteria. It cannot be kind of do that. Whether you're talking about a recommendation letter or you're talking about an expert opinion letter, you have to kind of be mindful of that. So there are two different aspects. The best option for you, my friend, is just kind of let us know. We will send you a link. You can just kind of use that for your drafting your letters. So wish you all the best. Just put a message across. We'll be happy to help this person. If anybody else wants a structure, please put a comment there. We'll be happy to help actually. Or just DM to us. We'll be happy to give that. Okay, wonderful. So what's next, Mario?
Yeah, of course. So the next question is from another EB1A aspirant that I've been speaking with. His name is Kamar D. He says, what kind of support do you offer after the petition is filed, especially if complications arise?
Absolutely. And if you're in the program, first of all, you should know that, Kumar, that of all the people, we have an audited report actually that says that 97.5% people who followed our process have earned their EB1A. We want this situation complication should not come. But assuming that it comes, if you have followed our process, we'll help you as much as possible. And since we are now Arizona Supreme Court approved, legal entity also actually as a law firm, we have our director of immigration services will coordinate with the person, and if you have filed through us, we'll help you. If you have even not filed through us, still we'll kind of support you in all possible way as our coaching students. We want to help each and everybody. So yes, we don't want to leave our students midway actually after, if they get into some kind of a complications. But having said this, let's be assured that all the people who have kind of followed our process, it's very rare for them to kind of not get their EB1A because of the reason is not that because we are saying this, because after having studied say 1,000 plus cases for EB1A, having after met at least 100 plus EB1A achievers, 40 of them are from our own program and many more on the pipeline, we have developed some kind of a body of knowledge for EB1A in terms of what are the anticipated RFEs that come, or let us say noids which have come, or denials, or even approvals that have come. We try to integrate that into the coaching itself and in our advice and in our approach to help you build your petition. For example, if we tell you that, oh fine, do your recommendation letter in this particular manner, we would have seen that USCIS would have questioned some things in the past, and that we try to anticipate and give you that in advance actually. So there is no guesswork here actually, because we have seen a certain pattern for success and failure, and we try to learn from the others' failures, and try to give you that insight. And also we try to give you success from the people who have got it. So it's not from that perspective, our insights become, if I may say, very granular, and from a technical and a scientific basis. Scientific, not really in science perspective per se, but yes, it becomes quite from a technical perspective. Yes, it does kind of give you a very based on certain experience actually. For example, there could have been certain case law which would have been cited. We would definitely say that why this should not be applicable in your case. So we would look at that from all perspectives. So this is the support that we'd like to offer to all our students who follow our process. I hope that answers. So Surya, what's next?
So next question is, what strategies do you recommend for clients who lack traditional accolades such as award or published works?
Oh, wonderful. I think it's again going into the way that, okay, you're trying to fit yourself into criteria. For all practical purposes, I'm just sharing with you, there is some clarification also I had. I remember after having studied so many cases and hundreds of petitions that I've seen, you actually, and it may sound paradoxical for many actually, you really don't have to fulfill the criteria also to get your EB1A. You really need to demonstrate a profundity of your expertise. Every field may not have this actually, let's understand. Every field may not even need to have this kind of every published material or something. If you need be, we do have a particular sessions that help you to build up your profile for that particular purpose. Definitely, we would have that. There is no doubt about that actually. But let's not assume, because one of the interesting things that we have in people who join the program is that they unlearn a lot of things actually. So once they unlearn, I think they realize the futility of what they think they know actually. I mean, it's just the profundity of our expertise. And I always say, and this is my favorite tagline, that you don't have to fit into the criteria. The criteria have to fit into your profile, and that's important. You may need published work, but let's not assume, or awards for that matter. I mean, just to give you an illustration, let's say, for example, how would a top expert in your field look like? I mean, your expertise is not defined by your job title or your company, also for that matter, or your education qualifications. So, for example, how would, let us say, if I were to apply for as an EB1A coach, do I need awards for that actually to prove my success? How would, let us say, the world's best EB1 coach, even you create an imaginary figure of persona, would look like if one were to apply for EB1A? Do I need awards or published papers for myself? That should answer the question. It is not, need not be. I may not have to take that route at all actually. So what happens is that when you apply for your EB1A, your own persona, your own character, your own personality, what you like, don't like, versus how an ideal person should look like. Sometimes you might have to come out of the comfort zone and do things, but it's not necessary. You can be where you are, and many people in the program, they realize that they are already closer to having EB1A than what they actually were. So that's the core part. And let's take the last question now actually, Syria.
Definitely. So, we have another question here from anonymous participants. How do you measure the influence of an expert endorsement and recommendations on an EB1A case?
Influence of expert endorsement. You see, what happens is that first, I would say that as I told you that we have a particular structure and format. If somebody wants it, please kind of write to us. We'll be happy to kind of help you out for that, and we'll give you. Second, that what are the quantification metrics for that actually, and what is the locus of that particular person who is kind of giving that recommendation letter. You can't be your junior, cannot be just your colleague or a friend or a neighbor. There, one has to have some kind of a function to do that actually. Some eligibility has to get well established, and that would be something which is very, very important. Influence of expert, I find it a little funny. I don't know what influence it is there. We are not talking of influence. We are talking measure the not influence. I would say that measure the locus. Let's say that. So from that perspective, it is about how that person knows you. So I always tell people the person should be known to you professionally. That's the first thing.
Mhm.
Or should have known you through your work, or should have worked with you. So either of the three things are there. So this would cut across for expert opinion letters, recommendation letters, and so on actually here. So that's all I think I would like to say. If there are more questions, please write to Syria or me. We'll be more than happy. If you're looking to join the Next League program, we'll be happy to help you. And wish you all the best, friends, for putting up these questions, and all the best for your EB1A journeys. Thank you very much. And thank you, Syria and Mario. And you will find the link also in the comments. So we'll be happy to help you in the future also. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any further questions or need personalized guidance, please reach out to us. We are here to help you every step of the way in your journey towards achieving your American dream. Let's connect and make it happen together.